Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. On this occasion we're at a railway station that is active, but a railway yard that's abandoned, and you'll see what I mean when I swing the camera around. We're at the town of Gračac. I think that's how you pronounce it. We're still in pretty much the district of Zadar, so it's hard to explain, but it's Croatia's broken up into like districts. So we're in the district of Zadar, and the town, or the railway station and town is called Gračac, I think. I hope that's pretty close to how it's supposed to be pronounced. But anyway, I'll fling the camera around and you'll get an amazing view. I've driven past this location, wasn't sure what was going on. I thought the whole place was abandoned, but no, there is still an active railway line. I think it's for passenger use only. There is a couple of silos that are inactive as well. There is a railway turntable that I've discovered, and also some work sheds that have been abandoned years ago. So it should be quite a good video. Now, I have spoken to what I believe to be one of the station masters. I'm not sure his actual title, but he was in railway uniform, and he explains to me that the silos that you see at the end of the, or in the distance of this footage, has been abandoned, or the buildings have been pretty much abandoned. Here we have a vintage steam engine. We'll have a closer look at that. The railway station itself is it is working. It does take passengers, and he said unfortunately the rail yard was unfortunately bombed and destroyed to a certain degree during the civil war for Croatia's independence. So all the damage you see around here is from the 1990s or early 1990s, and pretty much this whole town took a bit of a hiding, which is quite sad, and they haven't gone to the trouble of trying to repair it all at all. All they're trying to achieve is to maintain the passenger railway line. But we'll have a look around. I'll have a look at that steam engine there, for those who are keen to look at that sort of stuff. I'm sort of, now because I've seen so many, I'm quite interested as well. But just behind this railway station there are a lot of what I would call block of flats, and that used to accommodate all the workers in this area, and that's also very much abandoned. So to a certain degree the whole town, I think the best way to call it is it's lost its soul after the war, and people sort of left in fear and have never returned. And it's been sort of it's just a horrible thing that, you know, what war does cause to societies and communities and even businesses. Whereas as I show you around, and when I get the drone up, it is a huge sort of, it's not even really a town. From what the guy who I spoke to, he said it's more of a municipality, this area. And yeah, when I get the drone up, you'll see how big it is. And it's pretty much only got the railway station and a bus that goes through that supports the remaining community that decided to stay. So here we have the old steam engine. She is a beauty. Not so big. Now, I'm not sure if that plaque says anything about when it was in service. It could, I'm going to guess and say it says it was maybe in service between 1922 to 1982. I haven't actually understood what's been said there in Croatian, so I could be wrong. There's the number of the train. You can get into the cabin, I guess. Not sure if we're allowed to do so, but there's nothing to stop me. And the guy, who I believe was like one of the station masters, was happy to allow me to do pretty much whatever I wanted to do, which was just great. He was a nice chap, and his English command of the English language was just terrific. So communicating with him was just a pleasure. With my broken Croatian and his really good English, we're all able to communicate quite well. So here's the controls, and it's quite interesting. A lot of the times you see one of these trains, steam trains, they've pretty much deactivated everything, so things get welded up. But on this occasion, this one's still, everything moves, which I find quite interesting. All the levers are still in place, all the controls are still there, all the gauges are still here. Just lovely. Okay. Now just walking away from that steam train, you'll see this building here that looks like it used to be some sort of store. But yeah, as you can see, the lights, the signal lights are on with red. So trains do go up here. From what he said, it's mainly just the passenger trains that come through to service some of the rural towns in the area. Now this is also alongside the railway station, and the reason I'm showing you this, it is very, and I mean very unusual to have like apartments in a sort of rural setting along the coast. Not an issue, you see them everywhere, but to have actual like apartments where people live, or once lived, I think it's still been occupied in maybe one of the two of the apartments, but it's been run down. I don't think anyone's really servicing them. I'm hoping they get some sort of power. You can see the satellite dishes on some of the walls where the apartments are, but the guy was quite adamant that really no one should be living in them, and he's never known anyone to live. All the people who are here working at the station, they do not live in the actual town itself. So where that black car is, the BMW, they're the apartments, and these are like, well, right in front there, that's like a working area, and these here used to be the older apartments from what he was telling me. And then even that older building there, right in the middle of your screen, they were also apartments, and they used to accommodate a lot of the workers in the area. So it is farmland, and it also used to be a major railway yard. So here we have, this could be like the station master's house, I'm not sure, or some sort of storage. I can't tell you. I'll have a look inside if I can. And what do we got here? I can't tell you. There is a sign on that door that might give it away, not sure. Just above there. But as you can see on the other side, I'm going to say that probably more farming sort of properties that have been hit during the Civil War in the 90s. But we will go and have a look at the sheds over there, where they did do maintenance. And the guy said if you go behind those sheds, you will find a turntable, or what they call a roundabout. So where you've got the locomotive that comes in to spin around to face the other way, he said they call them roundabouts. So I said, fair enough, if that's what you're going to call them, that's what you're going to call them. So we'll go have a look at that as well. Once again, there's the apartments there. Now it's a very, very cold day. You can see that some of the windows are smashed, some of them are open, and you really don't want to have anything open because it's very, very cold. Now, as you can see, I don't believe trains are travelling on this first set of tracks because of the rust, but as you can see, once we get to these ones, they're very shiny. So I'd say that this is where the main trains go on, and then we come on to these other ones who very much appear that they're all rusted up, and any trains don't actually travel on this. I'm not sure, it just doesn't appear that way. So we are making our way to where the sheds are, where they used to do the maintenance on the trains. I'll just pan you over to this side. You can see that was a major railway building, he said, and it isn't anymore. And there used to be like a loading area, and I think that might have been like where freight was loaded from. I'm not 100% sure, but he sort of also wasn't quite clear about it either. He said all this was here before he arrived. He's a young chap, but he is quite confident that all the damage that we're now witnessing as we're walking around was caused during the Civil War for Croatia's independence, not during the First or Second World Wars. And they do use it as a storage area to do maintenance down the line. So this is now pretty much being used purely for storage, but they don't do any maintenance whatsoever here, as you can imagine, as we come up to this first building. So you can see where the locomotives would come along and they'd get serviced, and you'd have the guys who do the maintenance in these pits to work on the underneath the trains or the carriages, I guess. We'll go have a look at this one as well. Now these are huge buildings. I'm not sure if it sort of shows that on the camera, but these buildings are absolutely huge. And as you can imagine, they garage the trains. Now this one, I'm not sure what this one is. There's no suggestion. Oh, there is. There's tracks that lead into this place as well, but it's all been overgrown. So I guess if it was the 90s when they had the Civil War, which it was, it's over 30 years that nature's taken over, and anything that could have been stripped and used after the effects of what war does to buildings has been taken out. There's also, I'll just come over here, there is some tracks that lead around the back. A single row of tracks here. Now this will probably be a little bit longer of a video than usual because there's just too much to see. Oop, just jumped over that. So we'll just make our way at the back of these, I'm guessing this is where they serviced everything and did repairs, and I'll turn off the camera until I get to that turntable when I find it. So this one that we've seen is like a siding, so this is where they park them up, I guess, any carriages. And coming into view is that turntable. Now it's going to probably look a lot better when I get the drone up, providing there's no restrictions in the area. I don't believe there's a military base around here, but just have a look at that. There's your turntable. And here's the back of those maintenance sheds. We'll have a closer look. It is an eerie feeling, to be fair, knowing now that this particular railway yard was heavily bombed and attacked during the War of Independence for Croatia. So there you have it. guess it all pivots on this point right here. There is one carriage over there, we'll have a look. Now there are more buildings over there. Whether or not they're associated with the railway, I don't know. It could be, but I'm not sure. There's no railway tracks that go there, but they do go to the side of it. And just in the centre of your screen, next to the building, you'll see where the railway crossing is there. Okay. So these tracks obviously don't get used anymore. There's absolutely no way, because the tracks. Now this is a bit odd as well. There's another like cavity where one would assume things would get serviced, brakes done or whatever in these pits. Now once again, I don't want to pretend that I'm an expert at all in anything to do with railways or their infrastructure or their maintenance. You're pretty much getting it's not a candid view, but more of an amateur's a viewpoint of what I think some of these things are. I'm happy to be corrected, but I'm just walking around to let you sort of get an idea of what I'm thinking as someone who's a bit ignorant with all this stuff. Now, I would assume that's got something to do with pumping water into the steam engines. Now, if that sign that we saw in the old steam engine was correct, and that was being used to move carriages about and whatnot, and that goes right up to 1982, you can see how something like this would be still in play until then. You can see this has been hit hard, some of these buildings, and in the 30 years plus, it's just gone to ruin, and nature's slowly taking over. So this is the only really graffiti I've seen. Now, was this carriage parked up somewhere else that was hit by graffiti, or was the carriage brought here after the graffiti? I don't know. You can get into it, which is interesting, so I will climb in and have a bit of a look-see. Is it one of those like postal type carriages where you put stuff in? It doesn't look like a passenger one at all, but we'll have a look. And just bear with me as I wriggle the camera. I don't want to hit pause, I just want to make it all sort of live in the way you see it, in the way I try to climb in. So there you have it, we've got the first step in, get to the second step, and we're in. So yeah, this is definitely not for public use. This looks like a carriage for workers, where they'd do work on the line somewhere, put to the siding, they'd sleep in these beds and do whatever maintenance work on the line wherever they're sent to do the maintenance. So there's 2 bunks, 4 people would sleep in this little section. Reminds me of an army barracks. They've got little wardrobes to put their gear in. There used to be obviously some sort of heater here, which is great. Keep them warm. More bunks, another set of 2 here and 2 there. And another sort of opening, but this has been blocked, so I can't go through there. But basically, hopefully you can see what I'm looking at. There is like a lounge area with a lounge chairs or a sofa on the left here. I'm not sure if it's coming into view, and that's more of an open area, and a little kitchenette down the end there. So this is more of a, something for the workers who are working on the field and can't make it back to any towns or whatever where they're working long distances away from anything. Okay, so I can turn this off now, and I'll turn it back on when I get out of this carriage. So here we are outside the carriage, and you can see a wall that's up there. Pardon me. And you can see that the railway line here is no longer in use, with tracks missing and it does appear that the main line that takes the passenger trains go up and beyond that wall. So we'll go and have a look at that to see if I was right or if I was totally wrong. But here's just the other side of these buildings that would have, you know, performed all the maintenance of this railway yard. Now I can tell you it's a chilly day. It is Tuesday, so it's a normal working day. I was hoping, if possible, a train will go past, so we get an idea of what the trains look like, or the passenger trains anyway. And I'll go up these steps. Now I'm not sure what gradient trains can go up, but this seemed quite steep. So let's see. What we've got up here. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Is this where they do the loading on top of the trains? And do trains come up here? And I have to say they do, which is quite interesting. So maybe this is where the freight trains would get loaded up, and we're standing on some sort of platform. I don't know, but that goes all the way down. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Anyone's guess is as good as mine, I guess. And you can see the gradient coming up to this area. Now it is quite steep, I think, but I'm not sure what trains are able to do when it comes to the gradient. And down there, once again, is, I guess, where the shiny tracks are. I should be able to get it. I think I can get it. It's probably the track closest to that signal in the middle of your screen. Just to the right is the one that's being used predominantly, only because it's got the most shiniest tracks. So this gives you another sort of bird's eye view, or street view at some height, of what this area looks like. But as I said, once I get that drone up, you'll be, well, I was astonished just driving through here, and I could see that the sides of this town, or slightly, I don't know what you'd call a slightly larger town. It's not really a city, and there must be a different term, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. It might come to me and I'll let you know. But this is not your, you know, regular small town. This is quite large. And the sun's trying to break through, which is great. But there you have it. It is a not an eerie feeling walking around, more of a sense of foreboding or sadness that such a large town can just stop existing and people have fled the area, and not to return or rebuild or anything. I don't know if it's one of these towns where you did have different nationalities, like Serbs living here as well as Croatians. I'm not sure. And there was some fear mongering when the war ended that any Serbs were in the vicinity or on land that belonged to Croatians, that some harm would come to them, but that was never proven to be. I think once the war was over, everyone was happy just to call it a day, and those that wanted to leave could leave, but those that wanted to stay could also do that as well. And I'm sure there was Croatians living in areas of Serbia that after the war just picked up and left. But I do understand they do respect the ownership of land to whoever owns the land. So if it was owned by, say, a Serbian or a Bosnian or whatever, those titles and property titles are respected. And if you want to buy something, you still have to go through who the actual owners are. So this is a tiled area. Not sure what it is. If I can go around the back. For some reason I always associate tiles with toilets and kitchens and laundries. But we'll have a bit of a look if I can get to it. If not, I'll double back. Oops. Watch out for the vines and the branches. Oh yeah, not sure what this is, but we were able to get in. You can see the destruction with all the holes through the ceiling. This was bombed pretty hard. So this is a tiled area. Not sure. I'm looking for at the walls to see if there's any holes for pipes for toilets or showers. There's only one in the corner there. There's nothing else. I'm not sure what this was once. Once again, you've got to watch out for nails, especially they'd be very rusty. And this looks like an open area. And all the windows face the railway yard with tracks within metres. So if we just look out the window, you can see the tracks are right there. So I'd have to surmise that this is all associated with the railway yard. And the workings of a railway yard, as opposed to a railway station that deals with the public. So we'll go out again and continue on our little journey. So I'll press the camera off now and I'll get you to rejoin me as I make my way out. So here we are outside that building that we just went into. I'm not sure what this big huge steel plate is. Is it the front of a steam engine? Not sure. You can see how they've replaced all the wooden sleepers with concrete sleepers. And there's a lot of concrete sleepers stacked up for future use. Okay, I think this is going to be enough of me walking around. We'll have a look at this one thing here for those who are really switched on with the infrastructure of how railways work and the signalling and the changing and the shifting of tracks. So there you have that. But yeah. And way in the distance you can see those silos. So if I can get the drone, I'll fly to that and then make my way back here. And I've parked my car. I've just got to cross these tracks. Just over there. Right in the middle of your screen right now, that little black car. Okay. So here we are, back to where I parked my car, and here is a bit of murals, graffiti, tags alongside the wall of this building. This is not where the passengers board on the platform here. This is something to do with maybe parcels being dropped off and kept for storage. And this really is the only sort of graffiti of any note that's in this area. So the door is locked here, but if I stick my hand in with my camera, so we get to see what's inside. So we have a good spin around, and it does just appear to be some sort of storage for maybe parcels back in the day, deliveries for the town. Okay, so there you have it. I like the fact when you've got a window that's open and you can just stick your hand in with the little camera. I'm using, it's called a DJI Pocket or Osmo Pocket. Very, very small. And the best thing about it, they've got a little gimbal on it, which helps it keep it sort of balanced. So if I'm walking on rough terrain or something, the film or the captured image isn't as shaky as if I was using just a regular mobile phone or something like that. But as you can see, the huge hillside there. It really is a sort of a surreal location. And you can just hear the birds in the background and the wind blowing. Somehow I don't think we're going to get a train coming past. So here we are at the end of this little video of this abandoned railway yard, but not abandoned railway station. So as I've mentioned throughout the video, I guess, this is an active railway station for passengers. And if you did like the video, by all means, click on that like button or that thumbs up icon. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing does not cost you 1 cent, and it really does help the channel immensely. But most importantly, stay safe, commute safe, and have a great day. And thanks for watching.